In a glass-walled boardroom high above the city, one woman's arrogance cost an empire everything. When Eleanor Drake, a powerful chairwoman, humiliated Naomi Carter, the CEO she thought she could belittle, she didn't realize she was mocking the very woman who held her company's future in her hands. Naomi stayed silent, calm, and calculating. But behind that silence was power. One phone call. One command. And within hours, $2.4 billion vanished, live, on camera. The top floor of Hallberg Tower shimmered with glass and power. Inside the boardroom, sunlight spilled across a long mahogany table where 12 executives sat, their reflections sharp as their suits. At the center of it all, Eleanor Drake, chairwoman of the corporation, flipped through her notes with the calm precision of someone who believed the room already belonged to her. Across from her sat Naomi Carter, CEO of Carter Holdings, composed, confident, and quietly dangerous. She had built her empire from nothing, turning small contracts into a global investment powerhouse. Today's meeting was meant to seal a $2.4 billion merger, one that could redefine the entire financial sector. But Eleanor had no intention of playing fair. To her, this wasn't a deal. It was a performance. And Naomi was the target. When Naomi stood to greet her, extending a steady hand across the table, Eleanor didn't rise. She tilted her head, a smirk tugging at her lips. "We don't shake hands with people like you," she said, her tone smooth as glass, and just as cold. The room fell silent. A few uneasy glances flickered between the men. Someone let out a dry laugh. Another looked away, pretending to check his watch. The humiliation hung heavy in the air, captured perfectly by the cameras streaming the meeting live to investors. Naomi's hand stayed suspended for a second longer before she drew it back with deliberate grace. She didn't respond, not yet. Her silence felt like strategy, not surrender. "I see," she murmured, her voice calm, and took her seat again. Eleanor's grin widened. "Good," she said. "Now, let's begin." The presentation that followed was an exhibition in corporate cruelty. Eleanor interrupted Naomi mid-sentence, mocked her firm's reports, and dismissed her projections with polite venom. Each jab was disguised as professionalism, each insult cloaked in charm. The men at the table laughed on cue, eager to side with the woman in power. Naomi didn't retaliate. She simply took notes, precise, silent, unbothered. Every slight was recorded, every smirk memorized. By the time the meeting ended, no one in that room knew that the quiet woman they had just mocked controlled every cent tied to the deal. By dawn, $2.4 billion would vanish. Quietly, completely, leaving only the echo of Eleanor Drake's smirk behind. Naomi never forgot a face. Every smirk, every whispered comment burned itself into her memory. So when Eleanor leaned forward and said, "You'll come to understand, Ms. Carter, that this field doesn't pay dreamers, it rewards predators," Naomi simply smiled. Outwardly calm, inwardly calculating. Something sharp and precise began to move beneath her stillness. At exactly 3:17 p.m., during the brief recess, Naomi stepped out into the hallway. Her heels clicked once on the marble before she stopped and made a single phone call. Her voice was low, even, almost detached. "Activate Clause 9. Effective, immediately. No explanation. No hesitation. Just a command." When she returned to the boardroom, the atmosphere hadn't shifted yet. But it would. Eleanor didn't look up from her papers. "Let's continue, shall we?" she said coolly. Naomi sat, folded her hands, and replied softly, "Yes. We're just getting to the part where arrogance starts costing money." Eleanor blinked. "Pardon." Before Naomi could respond, a faint vibration filled the air. One phone buzzed. Then another. Then all of them. Within seconds, the room was alive with alerts and ringing. Faces paled as executives read the flood of messages lighting up their screens. The CFO's voice trembled. "Chairwoman, the funding. It's gone." Eleanor's head snapped up. "What do you mean, gone?" He swallowed. "Carter Holdings has pulled every cent. $2.4 billion. Effective, immediately." The boardroom erupted. Chairs scraped. Voices overlapped in panic. Eleanor's once perfect composure cracked wide open. "You can't do this," she snapped, rising from her seat. Naomi stood too, her tone steady, almost kind. "I already have. Your lawyers approved Clause 9. It permits instant withdrawal if any act of misconduct occurs during negotiations." She turned her gaze toward the small camera in the corner, its red light still blinking. "And since this meeting is being broadcast live, you've conveniently recorded the evidence yourself." Eleanor's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her face drained of color. "Do you have any idea what this means?" she whispered. Naomi's answer was calm, final. "Yes. It means my money stays clean." Around them, chaos swelled. One executive was frantically calling the PR office, another typing to the legal team. On the digital wall screen, the company's stock ticker began to dip, first a flicker, then a plunge. News alerts flashed within minutes. Carter Holdings withdraws $2.4 billion, Hallberg Industries in freefall. Eleanor clutched the edge of the table as if it could steady her collapsing world. "We can fix this. We'll renegotiate." Naomi shook her head. "No," she said quietly, gathering her folder. "This isn't a deal anymore. It's a lesson." And with that, she walked out, leaving behind a room full of broken egos, buzzing phones, and the sound of an empire unraveling in real time. "It's not revenge," Naomi said evenly, her voice calm against the thunder echoing beyond the glass walls. "It's consequence." Eleanor's eyes darted from face to face, searching for support among the stunned executives. "Are you all just going to sit there?" she demanded, panic cracking her words. "She's tearing apart everything we built." Silence filled the room until one man spoke quietly, not daring to meet her gaze. "No, ma'am," he said. "You did that yourself." Naomi slid her documents neatly into her portfolio and stood. "For future board meetings," she said coolly, "remember this, respect costs less than recovery." As she turned toward the exit, she stopped beside Eleanor. The chairwoman was still rooted in place, her authority collapsing faster than her company's stock. Naomi leaned close enough for only her to hear. "You mistook power for control," she said softly. "It isn't. Power is choice. And I just made mine." Then she walked away, calm, unhurried, her reflection gliding across the glass like a quiet storm. Behind her, chaos erupted. Phones buzzed. Voices clashed. Outside, lightning streaked the skyline while, inside, Hallberg Industries crumbled from within. By sunset, the markets had turned red. By nightfall, the company's value had plummeted 38%. Investors fled. Banks demanded collateral. And before dawn, every major news outlet carried the same headline. Carter Holdings pulls $2.4 billion, Hallberg Industries collapses overnight. Eleanor's photo flooded the internet, the once invincible chairwoman now branded as the woman who lost billions with a single act of arrogance. Naomi said nothing to the press. She released only a single-line statement. "Partnerships end where respect does." Within days, the event had a name, the Handshake Collapse. Business schools analyzed it. Executives quoted it. And in offices around the world, women who had once been silenced replayed the clip, watching Naomi's calm exit like a promise. Because sometimes power doesn't shout. Sometimes, it simply walks away. If you believe respect is earned, not bought, prove it. Like this video, share it widely, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from and which moment hit hardest. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories that call out arrogance and honor unbreakable strength.